Let's kick off with our Drive Safe campaign, and 2,924 people have died through road crashes in 2021. That's almost a 13% rise compared to 2020. These are official figures released by the Ghana Police Service. The festive season is over, and many people are returning from their holiday breaks to their routine, either in the big cities or wherever they make ends meet. Safety on the highways is a sure concern for many, particularly as drivers are often under pressure to reach their destinations in good time and as a result break a lot of traffic regulations en route. The police says it is on the lookout for such recalcitrant drivers in order to ensure safety on the roads. But how exactly is the question? I'm joined live by the Director of Public Affairs at the Ghana Police Service, Superintendent Alexander Obeng, for more. Supo, thank you for joining us for this conversation. Now, how has your outfit, your operation fared before, during, and after the Christmas break?
Thank you very much, Mr. Akaku, for the opportunity and your team. I first of all want to appreciate the media partners we are working with for their support in policing in terms of their proactiveness and readiness to assist us to disseminate timely, accurate, essential information to the general public before, during, and as we enter the after phase of the festivity, still supporting us. And I want to say that without you, it would have been a bit difficult. So thank you very much, including multimedia and then JoyNews in particular. I think talk is cheap, so sometimes you don't want to, as it were, tell the story than you, because you are our Lord and we are servants. And therefore, all the proactive and reactive strategies that we have deployed are manifesting. And so sometimes we want to tarry and allow those who have sent us, our clients, the general public, those who own police, to testify whether we are doing well or not, and whether we are responsive to their call to duty. And having said that, all our strategies were meant to be proactive and reactive in order to respond to the numerous calls and the community needs. And it's clear the manifestation in terms of increased sense of freedom of movement, nocturnally and diurnally, and the consistent scaling down of scourge of armed robbery and miscreants in communities, and the fact that there seems to be a broken window sense where compliance of state laws has become a daily bread for Ghanaians, the fact that we seem to be each other's keeper and are particular about state laws, either in terms of behavior towards one another, in terms of our rights, and the respect of state. And when it comes to the road laws, fact that those who are committing, because the state has capacity to detect, even in the absence of police, because we are a monitoring center, motor traffic and transport department, traffic surveillance and monitoring center, where these numerous traffic sensors or surveillance cameras are assisting us to gather evidence of those who are committing traffic offenses, and we have the capacity to take a look at it and detect those who are doing same, and for them to be forthcoming at motor court. And same are being published among others. I think we also keep on sharing information on how robbers that are gun battling with police are also being faced off with the state power, consistent with the Constitution in order to protect life and property, and we are not shielding same information from the general public. I think that in all, when people begin to see the presence of police day and night, and we are being responsive, not only in the urban policing jurisdiction and environment, but on highways, on rural roads, during market days, police presence is felt and saturated, not only those that are physically perceived because they are uniform, but those who are into detective police service delivery, driving on intelligence plane, approach police system in order to ensure that there is that invisibility for those who otherwise would have committed crime with impunity. So generally, we are doing what we need to do, and in all this, we are allowing the general public to dictate, because policing is owned by them, and as partners and as servants, whatever they direct us, we do, and we always are ready and to consult. And that's why there are also an ongoing, consistent engagement with entities, stakeholders, partners, in order to ensure that, as the saying goes, policing is contingent on the situation. We are not left behind as servants, but as the law says, if it's consistent with the Constitution and all that.
Right. So
and get it done to protect public health and safety and enhance a sense of security and safety among the general public.
It's crucial that you engage the public, and it's good that you're getting a good vibe. But how exactly have your officers fared on the highways, and how many of them have been, stationed on the highways in the course of, this Christmas period, and we're still in the season, so this festive season? How many officers have you had out there, and how do you say they fared?
I think generally, the kind of policing that is ongoing is not something that is because of the before, during, and after Christmas strategy, but that is policing everywhere.
Right.
And this policing everywhere concept ensures that police must be felt to be present everywhere and to ensure that the needs of the community, which may vary from one to the other, are met. And that is why, as I'm speaking, before Christmas, during, and after, if you cast your eye on the landscape or the jurisdictional landscape of Bono East, police will never leave that corridor between Kintampo, Zamarama, Abazi, Pran, and will never leave that corridor between Mampong, Ajua, Atebu, Kwame, and so all the way through Pran to Yeji. We will never leave Adoso, Ichiaman from Ejata to Donkokrum, Ademra, Amankwa. You're not going to leave the enclave around Bechima, Beria, Yamacha, Isam, and all those enclaves to ensure that we saturate the areas from Kintampo to Bawakra down to Kadeso, over the Black Water, down through to Tamale, and go through all the way down to Brimsey to Walewale, Karamanja, Pualugu. We will never, and all other areas that require police presence in order to ensure that the criminals who are bent on attacking night trip makers, market women, on during market days, among others, will not have the full day.
Right.
And our intelligence-led operation will also be sustained, so that we're more proactive to ensure and increase the sense of detection and capacity to arrest and to face off criminals and to ensure that they are pursued and brought to justice. And this everywhere, we continue doing it, and we will also be very quick to share information to, as it were, prevent those who are willing and capable from committing in real time, and also ensure that we partner those who have sent us on this course to ensure that in our communities we see peace at all times, and
right.
all areas, and we continue to share same information of soliciting their community support through chiefs and elders and community members and transport operators and market women, among others. And I think that this onerous duty is contingent on you and I to get it done. And that's why I appreciate what the media is also doing to support it.
Very quickly on this point, there's more I want to run by you very quickly. But on this very one, I know you've mentioned Kintampo all the way to Adesu. You've spoken of Wale Wale. So different pockets of the country, and there's monitoring going on. If you come to the Greater Accra region, for example, which of the highways are under close monitoring and why? I've seen your officers on the M1 stretch. That was particularly during the Christmas proper. Are there any stretches in Accra, the Greater Accra region, that are also under close monitoring that you can share with us?
I think with the capacity we have with this surveillance sensors, we are able to monitor it day and night. Having said that, we have intensified our patrols such that we are not only on horseback at the beaches, and we also on motorbikes. We have enhanced it, and the visibility patrols are enhanced almost everywhere. We have static duty point officers who are also, most of them fully armed, to ensure that at strategic locations where crime is likely to occur, we strengthen and make it difficult for those who are willing to have the field day. And those who are normal patrols, and our call-out lines, 191, 112, 18555 is also vibrant, and police alert on the bridge to ensure that calls that come, we respond to it. Urban policing is almost everywhere, and that's why we back it up with consistent patrol. And you recall, for example, before, during the Christmas Day, and then the Christmas Day, and also the New Year Eve, and then the New Year in particular, we saw intensified police patrol by police teams, starting inside the Inspector General of Police, Dr. Jotaku Dampare alone, as his custom, will not only sit in the four walls of the office, but will step out and ensure that the community members are engaged. And so we are all over Tema and also Accra respectively, and all these were repeated in the northern sector and the middle sector and all that.
Right.
And it tells clearly that policing is out there, and that if it is agoniform, it is where those who are the owners of police, the law, those who have called out servants to come and work for them because they are busy doing what is expected for the community or the country to do, to produce and then to distribute and to retail. Then, of course, it is our duty to ensure that the law that are given us are complied with by showing our presence and sharing and going to listen and incorporating the same in our tactics and strategies, so that in the end there will be high sense of public health and safety and increased security and all, and that at the same time there will also be high sense of detection, apprehension, among others, of those who are also intend to infract on the laws and commit crime.
Right. Super. Now, as your officers have been on these stretches and highways, what major issues of flouting road regulations have you identified so far? How are they being dealt with?
I think most of these have been reported within the media. There are those who are unlawfully changing lane. It's a major issue. And on highway, we think that that has to be discouraged. That's why many of these court, and it is clear that unlawful overtaking, if not well checked, will continue to create much problem for all of us. Having said that, I think if you look at the policy of the state in dualizing some of these major roads, particularly at commercial, now we are almost at the Bigger Junction. It is because if you leave our roads on single carriage, likelihood of some of drivers on the wrong side of the road, facing oncoming and leading to head-on collision. And therefore, that's a problem. Our patrols and the lookout by the members of the general public are assisting us to post incidents, look for those who committed and being put before court. Again, there are some who are using or abusing the sirens and beacon lights, and we have been very consistent in detecting and proceeding to court, and we believe that it will continue to scale down. The other issue has to do with motorcycle surges in terms of motorcycle-related crashes, and I think that something more drastic has to be done by the state and in particular by the police. And in coming days, I think police will roll out certain enhancements that will seek to promote safety of motor riders and riding of motors in urban environment, among others. And so speeding also seems to be worrying, and it's this reason I believe that our partners are also intensify their campaigns that Arrive Alive, among others. Okay. And we believe that we have been supporting this and going ahead. If we continue to do this, it will help all of us, because road safety is a shared and collective responsibility, and one agency alone cannot stop. That's why we call on the media to also always continue to offer your rich resource of your time, your radio and TV, to assist us in sharing all the necessary information in a way that will intensify publicity, awareness creation, and education of road users, i.e. vehicle owners, drivers, vehicle occupants or commuters, and yes, sir.
Super. So it would appear, obviously, from what you've been telling me, that some arrests have been made. But what is the status of the investigations? I mean, what quotient or percentage of these people have been put before court, like you're saying? Is it all of them? Is it 50%? I mean, give us some details.
I don't have the data here, but I know that compared with the same period last year, this year you have seen a massive increase in terms of those who are arrested for varying offenses last year as compared to 2020. And I believe that as many as were convicted as compared to 2020, and as many as have been fined to pay more than, I believe, 3 million Ghana cedis, and over 30, I believe, have been put in jail. For,
quick clarification, Supo. When you mentioned the 3 million Ghana cedis, for which period? Is it the entire year, or is it just for?
Yeah, as compared to 2020, I think that was increased over the same period of 2020. And I think that we, still have to pride ourselves with the number of arrests. But it is indicative of the level of indiscipline. And that is why it is a ground for us to stand on and admonish our transport operators, and then vehicle owners and drivers to comply with the road law. Otherwise, police now have capacity together with our partners to detect offensive conduct on the road regarding the non-compliance of safety rules that normally expose all of us to danger, and that our capacity extends to detection. People being forthcoming, irrespective of what you think you are, because all of us are not exempted from the compliance of the road law, and therefore it's not about for any profession but having a driving license. And anybody who has been privileged to have been issued with a license, if you don't comply with the laws, know that you'll be arrested, and you cannot hide behind any immunity. And that should be made clear to all license holders, because if you are a driver, you are primarily a driver before any other profession. And that if you commit any road offense, know that you have a day in court with police and the court.
Probably to conclude this conversation, Supo, can you give us a picture of the accident situation in general? And I mean, the new year has started. Today is the 7th day. What is the picture when it comes to accident rates, people flouting road regulations, and how are you working to avert further crashes?
I think, Mr. Papu, if you look at what our performance like in terms of as a country, we didn't fare well at all when compared to data since 1991 and all that. We didn't fare well at all, and therefore there are certain strategies that moving forward will be discussed. But the Ontario Police is concerned, make our position clear that we also take education without stringent enforcement and entertainment, and that's why, under the current circumstances, we are rolling out strategies that will ensure to remove invisibility of road infraction and to ensure that we pursue broken window policy of ensuring that anybody who commits road offense will have his day in court, and that we will intensify it. We will also back the human eye capacity with traffic sensors and surveillance cameras to ensure that as many as will commit, even in police absence, again, we are collaborating with all our partners, motoring public and the general public, that anywhere you find out that somebody is committing road offense, with your camera alone capturing, forwarding it on our Facebook and the RTA Police Service. And moving on, we are going to share a number that will allow us to interact on WhatsApp along with us so that videos will flow, and we have teams that are ready to pursue it to the court. And then we think that with this, supporting proactive traffic systems measures that are being deployed also by National Road Safety Authority and Driver and Vehicle License Authority and advocates and the media, will go a very long way to increase once again sense of detection and apprehension among motoring public. And that alone, when commission is done, knowing that you have your day in court, people will start complying. I think that we have made our point clear, and so many significant arrests were made. And we hope that this will go a very long way this year to ameliorate the kind of effect that we experienced last year in terms of incidents of preventable crashes, associated deaths, increase and damage to property, and in particular, the fatalities that were associated with motorcycle occupants and its related injuries.
Well, super. We are indeed grateful that you've joined us to give us the details. Superintendent Alexander Obeng, who is Director of Public Affairs at the Ghana Police Service. Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Fabu. Thank you.
Right. And we'll give you more data on road crashes as they have happened in the past year now, and we'll be giving you that data. And of course, it has also emerged that 15,680 people are battling various degrees of injury. This is also a 1.05% rise compared to the same time in the previous year's injury figure, which was 15,517. Now, out of the 2,924 lives that we lost last year, 1,266 died through motorcycle-related crashes. Again, 4,758 also got injured through that is motorcycle-related crashes. There were some 2,930 pedestrian knockdowns, and in all, 28,152 vehicles were involved in crashes last year. This is an 11.93% jump compared to the previous year. The Ashanti region was the worst hit, as 606 people lost their lives and 3,890 were injured. This was followed by the Eastern region with 471 deaths and 2,598 injuries. In the Greater Accra region, 442 people were killed and 2,611 suffered injuries. The least recorded mortality region was the Northeast, with only 18 people dying and 57 injured. The OT region followed with 20 deaths and 19 injuries. And all of this information, of course, data from the Ghana Police Service, the MTTD. Let's move on now to our very next story. And the Minister for Roads and Highways, Kwesi Amoakwata, is warning that any project that stands in the way of the dualized roads government intends to construct this year will be demolished. He said no single individual would be allowed to stand in the way of the national interest. The minister said government's drive to dualize the country's roads is being impeded as some people are deliberately siting buildings in the way of the projects highlighted. He said this when he toured some road projects under construction in Tamale.
The roads minister, Mr. Kwekwa Makwata, is in the northern region as part of his visit to inspect roads, ongoing road projects in the area. Addressing the media, the minister said government is embarking on a drive to dualize major highways in the country.
The Accra-Kumasi dualization is going on in earnest, and so many sessions will be started, any moment from now. As I drive between Accra and Kumasi, so many private individual projects and developments are coming up, and I get frightened. Everybody wants to cite his project by the roadside, and I'm at this stage advising, and if I am pushed, warning every potential developer. I won't even advise, I am warning every potential developer that you make that mistake and start your construction. We will get to you soon. And when we get to you, even if it's a 10-story building, it will be demolished. Every Ghanaian should know that. Because no Ghanaian is bigger than this country. And if we get to you, whoever you are, whatever money you think you have, to us, you are joking, okay? Everybody should be careful.
The minister expresses satisfaction at works on the interchange and assured that it will be open to traffic in the second week of March.
Excellent work is being done. The contractors, together with the resident engineer, who is the consultant, have assured me that every work associated with it will be completed by the end of February. So the first 2 weeks in March, they will use to tidy up the place completely, and then anytime from mid-March, His Excellency, the President, will commission this project on behalf of the government and the good people of this country.
The Northern Regional Minister, Shani Alhassan Shaibu, said the provision of the interchange will relieve the stress commuters go through in the metropolis.
The provision of this interchange will relieve us from the stress that people go through, commuters go through. This is the road that links the north to the south and even to the Sahel regions. And so there's always that heavy traffic, long vehicles, buses, coaches and other things would always pass through here to link up with the northeast, upper west, upper east, and even Mali, Niger and Burkina Faso.
The roads minister, who earlier paid a courtesy call on the Northern Regional Minister, said the MPP government has done some significant work on roads in the country, moving it from between 39 to 45%.
I'm a technical people. At least what is supposed to be good and move to something around 45 or 2%. And to move the road sector, from almost some put it 39, some put it 41%, but to move it from there to 45% is quite significant.
From roads, let's turn our gaze now to SIM card re-registration. And mobile telecommunication giant MTN says it is adopting measures including the deployment of mobile registration officers to institutions, among others, to decongest its SIM card re-registration centers across the country. The ongoing SIM card re-registration exercise has seen a significant increase in long, winding queues and congestion at various centers. Persons subjecting themselves to the process over the last couple of months have expressed grave concern about the undue delays and the cumbersome nature of the exercise. They have demanded the telcos to find innovative ways to ease the data collection process. MTN has since heeded some of these calls. We'll hear from them shortly, but let's hear Manuel Kranting in his report after he visited some centers yesterday.
Long queues, wobbling legs, and exhausted customers. The typical scenes at the many mobile operator outlets across the country on Thursday. This has been the trend since the new year started as subscribers race against time to meet the National Communications Authority's March 31 deadline for the re-registration of all SIM cards using only the Ghana card. The queues, which start forming as early as 5 a.m., will just not move.
Today you're able to do it. Maybe definitely we will stop. You won't do it. You will go to space and then do our normal calls as during that time we do it. Because if we see how the service is not working, we are supposed to go to work today, but because of the SIM registration, we are here. We've left everything in the house. You see, it's going against us.
I came here yesterday around 6. I couldn't do it because after being through the line, they told me that I have to do some linking, and because I've done the linking yesterday, I cannot do it yesterday now, so I have to come next day. Yeah. It's today that I came back, they said there's no network, so we are still there.
What time did you get here today?
I get here around 7. Yesterday I didn't go work, today I didn't go work. If I'm not able to do it today, that means tomorrow I have to come back again. You see, that means I've wasted all my strength.
I saw like almost when yellow.
We have been in this queue for so long, and they say the network is down. We have left our work and we are here. If we leave, we may not return. We were here.
Because what you Juma and say Neno Udi register Usim. Sir Usa Kobio my china unya chance.
At the Ring Road office of MTN, the wait had almost become a punishment. The legs of 66-year-old Auntie Emilia could not hold any longer. She finally sat on a bare floor after waiting several hours without progress.
We have been here from 6 a.m. We have been in this queue since then. And they keep telling us the same thing. They say we can leave if we can't wait. The only problem is that no one can do it in our stead. So we have to come ourselves. This is so frustrating.
The picture was not so different at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle branch of Vodafone. The queues were similarly long, with some of the customers threatening to abandon the process altogether.
The line, even the queue is not going. And so for me, I want to go home. I want to come later on, maybe next month. Because for me, I've already done the process on my phone. It's left with the caption of the fingers and look at the queue.
Meanwhile, there are growing calls for the National Communications Authority to roll out more flexible alternatives to facilitate the adherence to the directive.
Traveled where I went. How they did it was that there was some people who comes to do it for you at home. I think if they do it that way, it will be a little better than all of us coming to join here. They can even send some of the agents to go to houses to do it for them. I think that one will be best.
Though the officials at the outlet will not go on record with the news team, they cite the unresponsiveness of the registration platform for the undue delay in the process. Manuel Kranting, JoyNews, Accra.
And that was my colleague Manuel Kranting engaging some of you out there. Let's now hear from MTN's General Manager in charge of regional sales and distribution for Southern Ghana, Abubakar Mohammed, on what the company is doing in response to the demands by their customers.
To decongest, we will have almost 200 community activations happening across the country. At the same time, we will have the mobile teams that will also be going through the institutions to support them with the re-registration exercise. We also have in plan to increase our devices in trade to support the activations. So all these put together, we believe we'll be able to decongest our service centers and also help customers. We're key to also support with the decongestion is for the customers to initiate and do the first leg, which is the *404#, where they will do the self-service to link their Kanaka details to their registration details to generate the unique code. Most often they go to the service centers without that. So the agent would now then start the first process, which will require some time before then start the biocapture, which also takes some time. So we will encourage our customers to first of all do the first leg, which is the self-service by linking their Ghana card to their numbers. Then later they can go ahead and go to any of our touch points to complete the process by doing their biocapture. We hope this will help us going forward to decongest. Customers don't need to go to our service centers. We have the LRS as outlined. They are almost 268 across, and we are continuing to deploy more where they can. Anywhere they see the SIM registration banner hang, they can walk in there and have their bio details captured.
Let's talk a bit now about what we celebrate today, Constitution Day, and Fix the Country convener Oliver Barker-Vormawor says the political class is unwilling to support moves to overhaul the Constitution. The pressure group has for some time now been calling for the fashioning of a new Constitution. According to Oliver, political actors in opposition only pay lip service to the change in the Constitution, but when they assume power, are unwilling to cause the necessary changes. He says that is the case because the current document favors the political class. He cites the absence of a budgetary allocation to constitutional deliberations, showing that it is not a priority for the current government.
So, I was part of that constitution review process. And I understand that a lot of times, because we are too distracted by shiny processes, we do not interrogate them enough. And I say this because when that process was put in place, it came again under a part of the Constitution as a commission of inquiry powers that was used to set it up. What it meant in essence was that whatever report that was produced was only going to be an advice to the president. An advice he could refuse to take on board or not. So the manner in which it is even set up tells you that there's no real commitment that whatever the products of that process is would lead to anything substantial and tangible. And the history has shown us that that's exactly what happened. So we have to be very mindful and be watchful of statecraft and how these things are orchestrated, because we can go around this dance, and we've been doing it since 1993. In fact, when the Constitution was put in place, the MPP then tradition had said that no, this was the worst document they had ever seen on the continent, and that we were going to get a new Constitution in the shortest possible time. We are here over 30 years now, and we are still indulging in this game. You've seen my majority leader also talk about the need for a substantial review. Listen, it's not anything different from what they said in 2010. And we are here 12 years later. I guess I've lost the pretense, right? That comes with, something is going to happen in the Constitution, but it's a document that favors the political class. And that's why they are very much opposed to any idea of talking about the change of the document. Because they understand that any change of it will go substantially to affect the ways in which we have structured government that favors a certain limited class of people. And so they continue to throw in this review there. They give you a sense of buzz and excitement about it. But honestly, let's go back to the budget that was presented this year. Did we see any budget allocated for consultations and any activity towards constitutional amendment? No. It gives me a clearer sense that it is not executive priority at this time. So if a wing of the executive, which is the NCC, comes out and says this statement, you've known this a long time ago. We've been talking about this forever. So what has changed now? Did they present any budget towards educating Ghanaians towards a need for a referendum? The NCC did not. In fact, in preparation for this day, one of the things which the country has been doing is that we've been talking to Ghanaians across the country whether you have ever even seen the constitutional document and then read it, together with those who have not seen it and those who have not read it. About 86% of our people have never seen nor read the Constitution. That is damaging for a democracy which has committed money and has a whole institution which has branches across districts in the whole country to be educating people on the Constitution. It is part of the gimmick. And I cannot explain, I cannot find new ways to explain how nothing is going to happen because the system doesn't want it to happen. And if we want something to be changed or reviewed, overhauled, whatever form we say we want it. Because I don't want us to be distracted in, oh, you guys say you want a change, but review is what we need. That's why no action is being taken. For those who believe in a review, go ahead then. Initiate the process and do something about the constitution process. They're not going to do anything. And that's kind of what I want Ghanaians to be aware of and not fall into this game, really.
Staying on that same theme, the National Commission for Civic Education has also been sharing some thoughts on this day, particularly on the democracy and sovereignty of the state. Details follow in this statement, which was shared a while ago, and I read it to the letter to you now. It reads, the caption, Constitutional Reform, the next step to participatory democracy and sovereignty. And today, the 7th of January, dubbed Constitution Day, since its inception in 2019, has been set aside to commemorate the birth of the 1992 Constitution, which ushered in the Fourth Republic. Indeed, having uninterrupted constitutional rule for 29 years is a milestone that we must celebrate as Ghanaians, recalling our checkered political history and the overthrow of 3 previous Republican constitutions, which were truncated by military interventions. The National Commission for Civic Education, the NCCE, joins the people of Ghana to celebrate the 4th Republican 1992 Constitution and encourages the study of our fundamental law as a guide to civic rights and responsibilities. The day, aside or apart from acknowledging Ghana's longest-serving constitution, also ensures that the tenets of democracy, liberty, democratic governance, rule of law, accountability, constitutionalism are upheld. The Fourth Republic has fostered peace, democracy, and prosperity. Consequently, on this day, the NCCE reminds Ghanaians of our collective commitment to uphold and defend the 1992 Constitution against interference and interruptions. As Article 3.4 of the 1992 Constitution reminds us, every citizen of Ghana has a duty to defend the Constitution, must stand in defense against any person, group, or issue that threatens the very fabric of our democracy, and must reject oppressors' rule in any form or anything that seeks to disturb the peace and stability we enjoy. The NCCE, however, notes that despite these gains, strengthening our democracy by reforming and improving our constitutional infrastructure should once again be made a national priority. This will help tackle constitutional deficits and aspects of the 1992 Constitution that seemingly breed apathy from the public, disengages the public in major aspects of governance at the grassroots and national levels, further deepens marginalization, promotes excessive powers of the executive, and fosters the cause of corruption. Our constitutional framework is anchored on the cardinal principles of freedom, justice, probity, and accountability, liberty, equality of opportunity, and prosperity. The dynamism of these principles must empower Ghanaians, and our constitution must be responsive to the evolving needs of its citizenry. This will promote a sense of belonging and ensure the collective ownership and participation of every citizen from the grassroots to the national level in our democratic journey. The NCCE wishes all Ghanaians a happy Constitution Day. Long live Ghana, long live the 1992 Constitution. God bless our homeland Ghana and make our nation great and strong. And it is signed, of course, by the chairman of the NCCE, Madam Josephine Nkrumah, Ms. Josephine Nkrumah. Let's now move on. And Interior Minister Ambrose Derry has poo-pooed suggestions by some that the 7th of January, declared as Constitution Day, is an idle holiday. He noted that the holiday would rather make Ghanaians reflect, improve, and consolidate the gains made by the people in embracing multi-party democracy. He said one aspect of the country's democratic ideals which need to be developed and built on is tolerance. Ambrose Derry, speaking in an exclusive interview with JoyNews Upper West correspondent Rafiq Salam, called on Ghanaians to be tolerant and respect each other's views, which the Constitution requires from the citizenry.
What is happening in Parliament now, in the 8th Parliament of the Fourth Republic, is a matter of concern. I say so, and I want to put it in context. This is the 8th Parliament, and probably when the President decided, and we went to Parliament to declare 7th January Constitutional Day, some people thought it was an idle holiday. It is not. We want people to wake up from complacency, that we think that we have arrived as a multi-party democracy. Yes, within the region we are a shining example, but I believe that the Constitutional Day should give us an opportunity to reflect and improve and consolidate. And one aspect of our democratic attitude that we must develop and build on is tolerance. Tolerance of different views. And that's what we need to build on.
We take a break now for business. Do stay with us on JoyNews Desk.
Good morning to you. Time to bring you some business news. My name is Darryl Kwao. The implementation of government's policy directive on reversal of benchmark discounts on some imported items has been deferred once again to Monday, 17th January 2022. A statement said transitional arrangements to ensure a smooth implementation will allow a storage-free period for vessels that discharged on the 31st of December 2021 to go through clearance without being affected by the reversal policy. Meanwhile, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has met leadership of the Ghana Union of Traders Association and Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana to iron out any challenge as a result of the implementation of the policy. The two groups have kicked against the implementation of the reversal, initially targeted at reducing import duties of those items. Meanwhile, Samson Asaki Awingobit, General Executive Secretary of the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana, spoke to Joy Business after the meeting.
We cannot pass on the cost to the panel consumer. Even if you are passing, as we speak now, you go to Tama and other areas, cold stores are full to the brim. Things are not moving, so we don't think this is the right time for government to, as a matter of fact, reverse this 10% and 30% discount benchmark.
My last question to you. What happens if you don't get that demand? And you talk about a compromise. What would be the perfect compromise?
Well, we cannot say now. That's why we have called that one. First and foremost, we are not engaged. Want the engagement to start. WTO even give that opportunity to us. And two, we want them to suspend this sine die until further notice. After we engage and we come, then of course we will put a cut. They will also put a cut, and we'll see at the end of the day where we are reached. We will have amicable solution to reach out to a compromise state. But as it stands now, we think that the suspension must be done until further notice. We need proper, not just one-time engagement. We need to engage. Proper WTO will give you that. If we are bringing a policy of this status, we need to engage your people, if not less than 3 months in the calendar of a year. And so at least even they give you 2 months or even a month, about 6 citizens definitely will reach at the point. But as it stands now, we are calling on the government to suspend and allow importers to go ahead to pay current duties and taxes to the government.
In other news, Executive Chairman of Celtel Networks Limited and one of the pioneers of Ghana's tech industry, Dr. Prince Kofi Klugerson, is urging government to prioritize strengthening e-commerce to fully realize the digitalization agenda. According to Mr. Klugeson, the foundation to building resilient financial services is e-commerce, hence implementing a law for the next generation will crystallize the agenda.
When you look at AFTA agreement, African Continental Trade Agreement, Ghana is a headquarters for trade. You know, and in that trade, it's about 60% digitalization. If you look at the vice president, he's been pumping that Ghana must go because gold, diamond, you know, oil and gas, all of them are all gone. You know, it's not a futuristic revenue anymore. So the Minister of Finance is smart to see that maybe let me get revenue from here, but we must have to allow it to mature. Now, when you look at the children, you know, in Ghana today, our children are very, very smart, you know, and can do anything. When you go home, give your children smartphone and Wi-Fi, they keep quiet. They know how to do it already. So the next trend for the next 10 years is e-commerce. You know, now Ghana, we are drumming a lot of fintech again. You see, Ghana has focused a lot only on financial services, so everybody getting collapsing. But the foundation to build that financial services, if you look at MTN, MTN, Cyril Ramaphosa was then the general secretary. He pulled out, Nelson Mandela signed what they call a black empowerment. I think what the Minister of Finance, government should be doing is to move a bill for equity laws for our young people in this country. Because whatever they are building, they will get bought like we all suffered and struggled. It must not happen again. You know, we tried NAPCOs or whatever. So I think that a bill, you know, there are very smart guys in Parliament. I know most of them. Most of them are mentees. They are so smart that they came from somewhere. Let us make sure that, let us stall small. You know, it's a good thing to get money, but let's stall small and transform this whole country into a major digital economy, as Bamia is saying.
You were just saying that the digital penetration is weak.
Very weak, yeah.
And so I'm wondering why you are starting off with manufacturing and not helping solve the weak part of things, because when people have cell phones, if they have laptops, they will come back to the weak systems to use the devices.
Okay, there are two projects that are going on.
Okay.
Where you are right now is a telecom site.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a cell tower that is going to provide all the networks. We began already. Internet for every home.
Well, the full interview with Dr. Prince Kofi Klugeson will air on the Marketplace at 1 p.m., so don't miss it. That's it for business. My name is Daryl Kwao. Back to you, Benji.
Well, thank you very much, Daryl. And this is how we draw the curtains on Joy News Desk. Check us out for our next bulletin at midday. In the meantime, you can check out more stories on myjoyonline.com. My name is Benjamin Akakbo.